Oh, yeah. Good evening and welcome to another amazing episode of AUSHAMMER. I'm your host, Bryn Shady, and my co-host, Ryan.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
And we're joined tonight by the very, very talented Objective Secure team, Michael and Emma. How you guys going?
How you going?
Good, thanks, guys. How you going?
Oh, man. You guys are all the way over in Perth. What's it like over there?
Still sunny out at the moment, actually.
Sunny, that's insane. For those of you
for us, so
You
we might
have
have
to excuse me for a
we
minute.
have three small children at home, and one of them requires urgent mum attention. So she's just going to nick off for 2 minutes.
Mate, I've got 3 kids at my house and I still require urgent mum attention sometimes, I swear to God.
Yeah. I've got 2, so you guys aren't alone. We totally understand what it's like doing the hobby and doing the parenting. It's a pretty even balance.
2 hours from now we'll be fine, but of course they're all still up at the moment. So with the time,
Oh, it's still weird because I look out my window and it's pitch black, 8:30 at night, but it's daytime where you are in the same country.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yep. Oh, look, it's still pretty light out here. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so for those of you who are our international viewers, myself and Ryan and AUSHAMMER, we usually podcast from Brisbane, and Objective Secured, Emma and Michael, are actually all the way over on the other side of the country in Perth. So that would be like us broadcasting in Miami and they're broadcasting in Los Angeles, maybe?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So you guys just came back from a really big trip. Where were you guys and what were you guys doing?
We're actually on the west coast of the US.
We were relaxing.
Well, she says relaxing. We don't do relaxing
No.
family holidays.
Well, we weren't running events, which was pretty. It was a nice break.
Yeah,
Have a month off from thinking about events.
we just run. We lovingly nicknamed the show the Southern Hemisphere Open here in Perth in September of 2017.
Oh, crazy.
And that was 3
It was
days.
crazy.
3
Yeah.
days. What did we work out? 4,500 attendees over 3 days.
Damn.
It was a full-on convention. It was board gaming. There was role playing. There was some card games happening. We had obviously a bunch of tournaments, not just 40K. We had Age of Sigmar, X-Wing, Blood Bowl, Beyond the Gates of Antares, Malifaux, Bolt Action. I don't know. There were like 11 or 12 of them or something over the 3 days. We had Black Library author David Annandale come over for a couple of days as well from Canada.
Oh, no way.
So it's been sort of 2 years in the making, and the last 6 to 8 weeks in the lead up to were hair losing, as you can tell.
Yeah, it was absolutely manic. We lived and breathed events and gaming and terrain and just everything. So it was pretty awesome to have a month off and relax and go on holiday and spend time with our kids. And admittedly, you were still replying to emails and texting about gaming, but I took a month off, so it was pretty awesome.
I even got to visit one of the Games Workshop stores in the US, so it wasn't a completely hobby-free trip, but it was free enough that we came back a bit more reinvigorated because, yeah, that 3-day event was something that we'd never done that big before, and it certainly required more of us than I think either of us anticipated, particularly as we got closer to the event.
Oh, that's insane. That sounds like an absolutely fantastic event you guys have been doing. So we'll go over it again later in the show. But how long have you guys been running Objective Secured from? Just give us a brief history of when it all started.
Our first event was November 2015. Now, I'll preface that as that was the first one we had running.
That was the first one we did as Objective Secured.
We've run events over the years for some of the clubs and independent ones with some of the local stores, but particularly towards sort of 2013 and 2014 and the early parts of 2015, we noticed that events were drying up locally here in WA, and there was a very large apathetic feeling towards events. No one plays this, no one plays that, and we kind of took it as a bit of a personal challenge to see what we could achieve. And our first event in November of 2015 was 68 players.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of reinvigorated the community as a whole, and we've been having consistent turnouts in the 50s, 60s, or in some cases 70s for every event we've run since. And I think we've probably run 20 odd over the last 18 months. 2 years. What are we now? September?
We're 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
We're November now.
November.
Yeah, so we've 20 events over the last 2 years.
It'd be 20 something. I couldn't tell you exactly.
Shit, that's a really good effort.
That is huge. You guys are doing so much for the community, and like we are so thankful to have you on our show. It's a huge privilege to have you guys here. We're actually really happy you guys joined.
Lovely.
And I mean, a consistent turnout of 60 people, isn't that like 80% of the Perth population? Like, that's amazing, guys.
What's been really interesting about that event, the sort of numbers for us at least, is we've got a database that we use for our newsletters and that sort of thing. And we've probably got 350 unique email addresses now from people who've attended one of our events. There's obviously a lot of duplication there where people come and go, but because we use MailChimp, it only allows the same email address once. So we've got about 350 unique players that have attended at least one of our events in the last 12 to 18 months.
That's amazing. We're finding the same thing.
We haven't done show yet, but yeah, that sort of just from tabletop tournaments, that's kind of the numbers that we've been accessing in the tournament community here in WA.
So when are you going to come and bring that to Brisbane?
Yeah.
Funny you should say that. We have been talking about it.
I've got a good friend of mine who lives in Brisbane by the name of Brett, who's part of the Brisbane Gamers Guild.
Yep.
He ran there was a 60-player event. Was it last weekend?
Yep, Oktoberfest.
Yeah, he was. So he actually played the ringer for a couple of rounds there as well. So I have been to Brisbane a couple of years ago now as part of the WA ATC 40K team. And yeah, I know Brett's been doing everything he can with the club to try and generate more events for the community. So he and I commonly share feedback, and we share players packs and that sort of thing to try and make sure that we're getting the best out of each other's knowledge, I guess.
Yeah. I haven't been to Brisbane and I'd quite like a holiday, so I think it was...
Well, I'm going to talk to you about that.
Good excuse to come on over.
Brisbane's pretty cool. My only thing I found wrong with it really is that it's pretty full of Australians. But you find that with most of Australia, so...
To be fair, it's only the lazy New Zealanders that go there because it's closest.
Yeah, that's it. If you really want a holiday, Emma, just jump on a plane, go across the ditch. Yeah, back to NZ. You'll be all right.
That's good. That's also on the list.
Hey, you guys were saying that you guys have got there seems to be a lot bigger player base in the area, and I think we're finding the same thing. Like we recently did, like a bit of a shout out to the local community to send us in pictures of stuff that they've been working on, and we only sent it out to maybe like 3 Facebook sites, Australia wide, and we've got some really cool stuff. So we're just gonna pictures that these people have sent in, and you guys feel free to comment on them and check them out. Pretty good. For those of you who are watching, these pictures, all of them are going to be thrown on our Facebook site. All of them are going to be up and ready to go. We've chosen these at random, and it's actually going to be. We're sorry we can't show everyone's pictures, but we don't have the hours to go through them. Everyone's submissions were absolutely amazing. All right, so this creature of Nurgle.
Some Nurgle Baneblade tank thing happening there.
Oh god, it was. I don't even know what this was. This was sent in by Russell Mell. I'm pretty sure.
It looks like a lot of free sculpting on there.
Russell Mell, yeah, there's a lot of green stuff going on there. I was personally drawn to the nipple piercings and the chains. That's all sorts of messed up. Kudos to you for throwing this out there. That's
Brynley, what are you talking about, buddy? That's just our usual Friday night.
That's just our usual Friday night. Someone's been looking at our films again, and now they're just making fun of us.
I like. Is that like a cauldron there in the middle?
Yeah, I think so. It's I think it's a Baneblade chassis or something. It looks like, maybe not. Maybe it's like a third-party model.
Yeah, it looks like a World War II or like a Revell kit or something like that as its track section. I can't tell for sure.
Well, I'm really glad you're starting to identify pieces and stuff, because that identification skill is going to come in handy for our game later, Michael.
Oh yeah, Guess that booty. All right, give us the next one. Oh yeah, this one. Oh my god. All right, so
Yeah,
this is by Bradley Baker. This is a Chaos Lord. My god, I'm like, I'm just loving all the stuff that's going on here.
Is that a space?
Where is that head from? I haven't got any idea. That's amazing. I love it. That's really cool. So that's from Bradley Baker. Good job. All right, so this just seems to be a bit of rust paintwork. I can't tell if it's done with an airbrush or if it's been dry brushed on, but it's a pretty cool amount of detail like they've thrown out there. So this is from Andy Cass. Yeah, check that out. That's pretty detailed. They've got a bit of highlighting going on.
I dig it.
I think it'd be interesting to see if they weather it up and add all the colour to it as well. That'll really pop that flavor up.
Oh, this is okay. So this is an entry from Norman Roberts. So this was an Army on Parade Astra Militarum entry. So as you can see, you got a couple of Blame Blades, you got a couple of tanks going on, you got your Valkyrie. It's a cool setup. They've got the what's that big terrain piece called?
Fortress of Redemption.
There we go, Fortress of Redemption in the background. It's absolutely covered with guardsmen, as it should be, ready to absorb the impacts and preserve the paintwork.
That is the ugliest Age of Sigmar photo I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, well,
that is not
in the background.
They don't even look like Free Guild. Who did this?
Who did this? That's a terrible steam tank.
There's a Wyvern in the background there and a Glockkin, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah, it does make me feel a little bit better. It does. That's actually really, really cool. I dig the turret placements that they've got there. And I don't know much about the armies on display, but I'm guessing that you're allowed a little bit of overhang on your 2x2.
Yeah.
We've got one of those terrain pieces on our board that's huge.
It's massive.
That's badass. I really wish G-Dub would come out with a better way of mounting your flying
flyers. Yeah.
Because is it just like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't mind those because I've tried a few of my older flyers on like brass rod or clear acrylic tubing, and the problem you get with them is they tend to spin on the stand. So at least with these, even though they're a bit ugly, at least with these they tend to keep the model stationary and fairly well balanced and static. When you start doing tubes and stuff, you have to start rigging up internal mechanisms to hold them still.
I quite like them as well because the players can heat them, which means that they can bend them, which means they are on the flying stand
and they're still stable on them.
But exactly. So
I saw one at I saw one at it wasn't a GW store, it was like a hobby store in KL in Malaysia, where the modeler had actually used magnets and it was actually floating above its base.
Yeah.
And ever
I've been
since
trying
then,
to get one of those for ages.
Yeah, ever since then, just nothing else will cut it. I don't know how he did it, but that man's a god to me now.
I figured it out, and if I can find a power converter for one, I want to do one. So I'll show you when I get one.
Yeah.
Oh wow! All right, so this is obviously it's a Chaos Helldrake. By the symbology, looks like Slanesh and the dims in the background. And okay, so
yeah, painting that's where the crackle is. Yeah,
I'm so sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. So it's Adrian Koshrain. There we go.
That was the worst attempt at pronouncing somebody's name ever. Adrian, if you're out there, I'm sorry.
I apologize momentarily.
The physics of this creature are mind-boggling to me. How does a dragon fly around with a gun in its mouth and metal wings? You 40k players are all sorts of crazy.
Wizards.
Physics. This is science, bitch. Yeah. They're really cool.
It's got a jet engine where its bum should be. So.
Oh, really?
Flying butt turkey.
See, I don't know much about 40k, but if I was playing a game and somebody put that on the table, I'd feel like I should be worried. Like, they look really tough.
They're pretty rude.
That's a good paint job too. That's a really good paint job.
Yeah, I like it. I like the purple and the silver. It's good.
The
Pretty
thing
nice.
that stands out to me the most is it looks like purple crystal structures on the base there.
Yeah.
Very clever.
I've seen a couple other pictures of this one. It was looking pretty good. I like it. Well, thank you for sending in. All right, so these are 2 Imperial Knights from Mark Shaw. He messaged me in his picture comments saying that he painted these both in 3 days and he's never painting white again.
That's not the first time we've heard that. White is
Yeah, I feel that pain. I feel that pain a lot.
Speaking of painting white, aren't you painting white soon, Brynley? Whoa.
Yeah. I've got some Stormcaster paint white. It's gonna be great.
Excellent.
Can't wait. So, but yeah, man, 3 days. That's a pretty good effort. Oh, I'm loving this. Okay. So this is
It's an Exodite.
Yeah, this is an Exodite Fire Prism by Jake.
God, I'm a nerd.
You said it.
That is so freaking cool.
Yeah, that is really awesome. I am so happy with that.
Versions I've seen a few people try this, but most of them don't bother to go to the effort of mounting. You can see the second crew member sort of just above its forearms with the shuriken cannon there. Most people don't
really
bother
cool.
to go to that level of detail, but he's lined it up so that the harness meets the straps that are already on the Carnosaur as well, which is really nice little detail to spot.
Oh, this ticks all my boxes. It's like Warhammer meets Turok the Dinosaur Hunter.
It's pretty good.
Dino Riders.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
That's really cool. Who did this one? Sorry, Bruno?
Okay, so this was by Jake Buter. Yeah, dude, fantastic job, Harry.
Yeah,
all
Jake,
over the conversion, all
I
over the
reckon
paint job.
It'd be nice to see a bit of a wash on the skin, on the green, not so much the red. But damn, that's a nice paint job. Like, that's really cool. That is really cool.
Other angles up of the models. I'd love to see other shots of it.
We've only got. Well, look, we'll head over to our Facebook site sometime tomorrow, and we'll throw up more angles of these models. I'll go to an effort of getting in contact with these people, and we'll grab some more pictures. So,
yeah,
really loving some of it.
I can see a lot of people out there wanting to know how this was done as well, because it is a really cool model, and there's a lot of effort and time put into this one. It looks great.
I can pick some of them. I want to see
you
some
just
other
cleared
angles.
your inbox, mate.
That looks wicked.
The good old Night Haunter. All right,
it's my mother-in-law.
Is it a Night Haunter?
No, it's Age of Sigmar.
Age of Sigmar?
It's a forged model called oh god, it's from Forge World, and it's come on, Age of Sigmar boy.
Are you talking to me?
Come on, Ryan.
I told you what it was. if every married man's got one. What do you want about?
Oh, wow. All right,
so it ends with a ghast or something. I don't know. Robert, where are you? Are you in chat? Tell me what it is. I can't remember. The name's escaping me. I don't know, anyway, but it's obviously from the Death Army, and they're really brutal as well. I do believe are these the ones that make anything that it's in combat with, like Meg 1 to hit or something like that as well?
Yeah, probably.
They're pretty beastie. Who did that?
So this is from John Edward. Good job on your paint job. Sorry, we can't figure out your name. As you probably already are aware, this is a pretty regular level of professionalism you can come to expect from us. So, thanks.
Please send us more photos of minis we forget the name of.
Yeah, just all of them. All right. Oh, so this is a Glade Guard. This is from Luke Stone. Man, I'm just loving the greens and the browns on this. This is just a really nice job. I don't know if the bases are finished, but I think the models at the moment are just looking fantastic. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty good. Oh, man, this thing. Okay, so this is from Owen Collins. And that's an Orc Stomper. It's like a gigantic Orc Stomper. As we can all see, someone's just gone to a lot of effort to throw a lot of things together.
Well, look, the head's an orc battle wagon, and the what look like the feet. Those I don't know if it's the feet or the shadow. The feet are definitely Gorkanaut or Morkanaut, the main bodies.
And
it looks like there's another one
he's got
also turned upside down.
miniguns made of miniguns. Minigunception.
Is that a?
For the record, the Age of Sigmar photo, it was a Mongol.
That's it.
Oh, there we go. A Mongol.
Thank you, Matt, in chat for giving us that as well.
Thanks, buddy.
Sorry. I should be ashamed of myself.
Yeah, you should.
I can see a Tau burst cannon. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of parts gone into that. A lot of stuff gone into that.
Yeah, there's a lot. I think he's quite well hung as well.
Yeah. I love the attempt at the belly gun, but he's probably about half a foot low.
Yeah, it just looks like he's got a giant cock cannon. So, but good on you, man. That's pretty cool.
I reckon this is amazing. This is something that's whoever did this, I think, should also go through the extra effort of adding some LEDs inside the head, so it looks like his eyes slit lights up and stuff. I could see this.
This is from Owen Collins.
Owen, when you finish this and it's all painted and ready to go, please send us more photos, because I think this is probably one of the coolest models from 40K that I've ever seen.
This is really impressive. Like, holy
that
crap!
Looks massive too.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
I dig it.
Probably like a.
I dig it.
So this is just from someone's hobby desk. This is from David Maidment. Oh wait, this is David from here.
Yeah,
I'm up here. Yeah. All right, so this is some of his hobby stuff. This is what he's been doing. I think he's going to. He's going somewhere with these guys. I can't. That was in the chat somewhere.
David, why are you doing 40K? This isn't AOS.
No, I think this is 30K. I think
it's throwing me off. Yeah, well, that night, isn't that a Forge World night?
Yeah, it's a.
I was listening to an audiobook from there. Hey, yeah, there's the Antares he got off me.
Hey, look at that.
They're really cool minis as well when they're painted.
Yeah, wicked. Oh, well, thanks for that, David.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here you go, Ryan, something to keep you happy. What are these?
They're from Shadespire. They're the Stormcast trio.
Yeah, the female on the left there, which has been photoed with a giant shield in its way, was a big revolution for them as well.
All right, so this person's name is really hard to pronounce as well. So this is from Loranus Sabonis.
Oh God! Don't hurt yourself, Brynley. Shit.
Man, this beanie's cooking overtime. Tricky pronunciations going on here.
Yeah, that's well painted as well. I like the I like the red and the yellow as well, as a change to the usual blue and gold that you see. So
it's really really beautiful.
This actually looks very Queensland state of origin-ish.
Oh.
Almost as if the paint scheme was the Brisbane Broncos. I like it.
It does look a lot like that. Oh, and is that it? Are we back to the start? Are we going through everyone?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, thank you for everyone who submitted your pictures to our site. Literally, we were absolutely overwhelmed. I think we ended up having 177 photos to go through, and we apologize for not being able to go through all of them, but we will be putting them all in the Hall of Fame folder, and then all of those ones that we featured tonight, I'll try and get in contact with those people, and we'll try and get more photos of them, because like the Exodite and that Orc Stomper and a couple of other ones, people are going to want some more pictures of that. So hit us up, check us out, get onto the Facebook page, like and subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Also jump onto Objective Secured, like and subscribe there while you're there.
Hell yeah.
Chilling out, doing whatever. So are we gonna do news yet? or we want to do
Yeah,
events?
Let's go through the news, because I'd be interested to hear from Emma and Michael as well, and see if there's anything going on in their neck of the woods. So
Yeah, all right. So I'll find the list of events. So we've both, okay, so being from Brisbane, we're mainly able to focus a lot on the Brisbane Central Coast, sort of like this side of the country pretty well. But as we're finding, like each week, more and more people are throwing up their stuff. Like the other week, I found out about Outpost 36030. I never even knew guys they existed, but like they're there. So we're just having more and more people add their stuff in. The community is just getting bigger and bigger. We're just getting a bigger look at what's going on. So so for all these events, I've kind of left out the Games Workshop stores because like let's be honest, they get a fair amount of promotion as is. So tonight I'm just gonna be like running through all the local stuff. So here in Brisbane, in the Warrior Lodge on the 12th of November, we've got an Age of Sigmar event, and then on the 18th of November, we've got a Time of War, which is a 40k event. Go to their site, hit them up. We've got the links included in the video. You guys can check this out when you guys get there. Northern Knights, 9th of December, they've got Fortunes of War. So that's a Flames of War event. I don't personally play Flames of War, but it's a cool game. People should check it out. It's something they're running. Another local group, Legion of Wargamers, on the 18th of November, they've got a meetup with the Bray Park Alliance, which is another group. So they're going to be running that. And that also coincides with a Time of War, which is a 40k tournament put on by the Bray Park Alliance. So if you want a good time in your Brisbane area, go to there. It's going to be a pretty busy weekend with those guys hanging out. Ace Comics and Games, 25th of November, they've got a 40k play day at Annalee, which seems a pretty regular occurrence. Irresistible Force on the 19th of November, they've got Death of Hades. It's a 40k doubles event. I should be going to that. It does coincide really, really closely with another event that we're going to be going to. We'll see how it goes, but we should be able to provide coverage with it. We're good friends with the guys down there. Love hanging out there. They got some amazing tables. Good fun to hang out. Right, Battle Station Toowoomba, 19th of November. They've got the Unlikely Brotherhood. It's an Age of Sigmar doubles tournament. If you're in the area, definitely check it out. They always put on a good show. You'll probably see some of the guys from Heralds of War. They're a good bunch of lads to hang out with. The Warhammer Age of Sigmar group down in Sydney, 11th November, they've got a Siege event, which is at the Warhammer Castle Hill event centre. And then on the 12th of November, they've got a monthly Age of Sigmar tournament at Good Gangs Bella Vista, which sounds like a lot of fun. They seem to have a good time down there. I'd go check it out if you're down there. Or on the Central Coast, check it out. The Games Cube, so 18th of November in 40k. So we're slowly moving our way down the country. 18th of November, they've got a 40k tournament. So Games Cube, that's in Parramatta. 3D6, which is in the ACT. On the 9th of December, they've got a Hasty 2, which is a 30k HH event. Basically, massive knights just thrashing it out, destroying stuff, so that should be really cool. And then going to go back up north towards Perth. Okay, so Outpost 6030. They've got 11th of November, they've got a Horus Heresy, a Plunder of Dole event, and then they've got a 40k Task Force event on the 12th, which should be really, really exciting. Oh, wait, was that just gone? I think it was gone.
No, it's next weekend.
Yeah.
Next week? Yeah. Well, you guys should know. You guys know all about that. I'm going to hand over to Objective Secured. Tell us about that event. What's cracking on there?
I was chairman about for 60, 30 years gone by. So the club's been around now since at least 2002 that I'm aware of, when I kind of got heavily involved with it. So it's been around a long time here in Perth. It's probably the single longest running club we have, the tabletop. They do 2 events a year they call Skulls, one in sort of March, April, and then the other one around now. And they always kind of mix it up over the 2 days. Sorry, it's Warhammer 9th Age was the last one they did. They also do 40k, 30k. X-Wing's been done before as well. So they do Malifaux as well. So they always put on a good show. They're based in South Perth, for those of you over here in Western Australia. Nice and central and easy to get to, just off the freeway. So their 2-day events are good. I'm hopeful, tentatively, depending on how we go with the kids this weekend, that I'll get to the 40K side of things, which will be awesome. And then a week later, we've got our final 40K event for the year, the 40K Masters, 2 days at the same venue as Outpost, because it's a nice central venue, which is great. And that's 2 days, bigger armies, a bit more competitive. I know the guys for Outpost are running their event with a power level with a very narrative theme to it, whereas this is our end-of-year competitive event. And the following week after, we've also got Crags, the Kwinana Rockingham Armchair General Society, acronym as far as I'm concerned. And they've got, they call it the Champion of Crags, and they basically run a one-day tournament for all of their members who've competed in the different gaming systems across the year for the top 8s. So they do 40K, they do Malifaux, they do X-Wing, they do Age of Sigmar, they do Blood Bowl, they do Ninth Age as well, I think is the other one they're running. And they're basically 8-player events across the single day. And guess who is the #1 ranked for 40K down there?
This guy.
Emma.
Yeah, me.
So I'm going to try and build and paint an army in 3 weeks and take it with me.
What army?
Buddy.
Gene Stealer.
Gene Stealers.
Yeah, it's about 100 models I've built over the last week.
He's done no work for the last week, but he has managed to build all of his models. So
It's funny how they manage that, isn't it?
isn't it?
Oh, wow. So you guys going into any events this weekend?
Hopefully just the one for Skulls for Outpost on this. I think 40K is on the Sunday this weekend.
So Mick will go and play. I'll just go down and say hello.
Keep them out of trouble.
Wave. Yeah,
That's pretty
that's the plan.
Well, the funny thing over the last couple of years in particular, as Emma's, like, as the two of us have been working on tournaments and events, I'm reasonably well known in the community for my time at Outpost and for, you know, all the years with tournaments. But everyone's now getting to know Emma really well, which is great because now
finally they found the brains behind the operation.
Yeah.
Brain together.
You know, when she walks in, they don't all look sideways and go, "Why is there a woman in the room?"
There's a girl in here.
Oh my God! What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Oh man.
Well, it's becoming more of a because there was a stigma on tabletop gaming for quite a while, and I think it sprouted things such as you know, the whole female in 40K Facebook stuff, and I think the stigma was that it was a guy's game, and I just think that it's awesome that that Emma's so involved. I think it's really cool because it shows that that it's not, you know, it's not this guys only sort of hobby thing that a lot of people just presume it is.
It's quite funny actually because we have very few female players, and we are really trying to encourage it and getting more and more. But I often run a high tea for the wives and partners of the players.
Warhammer Widows.
Warhammer Widow high tea. And, so when they come along to that, like all these women who don't know each other are sitting around a table, and people are going, "Oh, do you play?" And all the women are like, "Oh, no, I don't play. Oh, but I read the books and I paint. Oh, and I do actually play." And so then everyone's, it's like he's sort of like, you know, I'm an alcoholic, but it's, oh yeah, no, I'm a girl and I do actually play this game. So it's really interesting seeing these people as they get to know each other sitting around the table, suddenly starting to confess that they do actually play as well. And
I really want to come just for the high tea.
Yeah.
We do serve alcohol at most of our events because we're not a not-for-profit club. Because we're running it independent, we can go and get liquor licenses.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which means that we're actually allowed to serve alcohol at most of our events.
Me and Ryan are all about alcohol.
Hey, you're not invited to high tea, Brynley. All right. I think that's really, really cool. Seriously, that's really awesome. We've met a few of the female hobbyists on this end, and just seems pretty normal. I think from the inside looking out, it's I never understood the stigma of it's a guy's game, but after speaking to people, you know, all around Australia, all around the world and stuff, it really is something that most people just assume is just for guys. So yeah, I reckon. And not to mention the fact that a lot of these competitions have like a monetary prize involved, and I don't think yes, there are more men that play than women, but once the female players start to cotton onto the fact that there's a monetary value on prizes and that they can use both sides of their brain, whereas us simple men can only use one, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So
we're just eights rolling dice.
Yeah. we can't focus on two things at once.
We've probably got 6 to 8 women who we see on and off throughout the year for different events.
Yeah.
We actually run an event in August each year called Mixed Doubles, and the goal there is partners.
Yeah.
Whether that's husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever partnership you have. And a lot of the guys, it's just for their mates. But we've run it 2 years now, and we've seen more women attend the second year than the first year. So we're slowly getting them through the doors to kind of learn. And we've seen some parents. We had one of the guys bring his father along, who's always kind of questioned what it was all about, and he came along and rolled some dice for the day. And because we keep it kind of light and it's not really a competitive day, it's more about a soft entry with a social aspect to it. Yeah, there's less tension in the room for winning games, and we always pick sort of fun and weird missions, and the army list, the restrictions are a bit tighter to try and stop some of the silliness.
Yeah.
But I think we had, how many couples did we have? I think we had 70 players for doubles, 36 teams of 2 was what we had.
Wow.
And
yeah, it was massive.
I think we had 8 teams of women.
Yeah.
At least one woman on the team. So yeah, it's still in its infancy in that regard, but there's it's a really good entry point for a lot of our players whose significant others or family members want to be interested but feel too intimidated to come by themselves.
And we did that because the first Masters event that we ran back in 2015, so I was working on the bar and sort of running around doing all the 5 million things that I generally do. Many women there. And so I will always say, oh, do you play that kind of thing? Oh, yeah. I said, oh, you should come along. Oh, no, I couldn't play this. And I said, oh, why not? I couldn't play in a tournament. Why? Oh, because there's so many men. I was like, well, so we needed to find a way. That's it. We needed to find a way to kind of come and feel supported in coming, that they weren't, I guess to try and remove some of those barriers, and doing it with their partner was one way to try and.
Do you think that maybe it's because people make it out to be a big deal, like, oh, a girl's playing in the tournament, when really, like, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? Of course, a female's playing in a tournament. It's a bloody game. Anyone can. That's we don't pull out the game of Monopoly and go, oh shit, is she playing? Oh no,
Oh no.
Being a girl going into that kind of environment, though, I walk in and I am often the only woman there with 70 men. That is quite daunting, apart from the fact that I know 65 of those 70 men and they're all teddy bears. So, but if I didn't know them, time would be really quite intimidating. And we just got to get rid of that whole I'm the only woman in the room.
Yeah.
And by the time we get to the point where there's 10% of them are women or 20% of them are women, you've lost that stigma, you've lost that stereotype, and we've won the battle. So we just need to slowly chip away at we get there.
And let's face it, some of the best hobbyists that you see around the world are women. When you actually get like Victoria.
Yeah, exactly. Bryn, love her work. Victoria, if you're watching this, please get in contact with us.
Yeah, Victoria, if you're watching this, please tell Brynley how to paint my fucking Stormcast properly.
Please tell Ryan to stop painting with like a piece of silly string so I don't have to paint his fucking Stormcast.
She went from a white dwarf. She won Slayer Sword back in the 90s from memory.
Yep.
And the Witch Hunter diorama, I still remember exactly what that looks like. And ever since then, she's she's got her own business now, and she sculpts and she paints, and it's you put her up against anyone in the world in regards to her hobby skills. So why can we not have more of those skilled people coming and being part of our community?
But the difference is you paint and you do the hobby skills in your living room or in your hobby room.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into a room that's filled with however many other people.
That's true.
And and then there's so much stigma around wargaming.
Yeah. Well, I think it's leaps and bounds in the past, say, 24 months compared to what it used to be like. So, I commend you. I reckon it's bloody awesome. And heck, I look forward to throwing some dice with both of you.
I'll take the Age of Sigmar, so you've got some common ground.
Hey, nobody plays 40k anymore, all right? Just come on over.
Say otherwise.
Well, we kept hearing, but I don't know.
Keep telling yourself that, buddy. It's okay. It's okay, man. I'll come over and we can play some Age of Sigmar. You just calm down, buddy.
Nobody
Give
will
yourself a
play
heart
with
attack.
me. Bloody hell.
It's all the medication he's taking for his flu. He's not thinking straight.
Yeah, he's got Alzheimer's. He's not even sure what 40k is.
So it's all those cold and flu tablets. Those cold and flu tablets. So that's a lot of events going on recently, or soon coming up. Is it just me, or is there anything have we heard about anything going on like Cairns ways and stuff?
No, I did forget to mention CanCon. So Age of Sigmar, they've got the Call to Glory event going on, and then they've got the 40k ITC, and then I forgot to mention our event that we were going to. So that's on the 12th of November. Warrior Lodge. We're actually going to be there.
Hopeless.
Competing. So we've only been like painting an army for it for like the last couple of months, trying to get it sorted.
Yeah, actually, Jamie from that gaming group just released the list. So you're up against in round one. You're up against Todd Wallace, and
Todd, I'm going to violate you.
He's going to smash your face. I mean, your tote's going to win that one, buddy. You've got it. It's in the bag already. And I'm up against John Priest. So basically, the game hasn't started yet, and I've already lost. So that's going to be fun.
Well, that's good, because that means like we can both lose, and then we can go grab a drink from the bar. So.
Well, the interesting thing about that tournament is the fact that nobody knows what they're doing until they get to the table, where they will then be given the scenario for that round, which is pretty cool.
I'm totally fine for that. And I think you guys, there's the 40k Masters, West Australia Masters. Yep. That's coming up. You guys are running that. That's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, it should be. It's 2250 points, so we go a little bit bigger for Masters. We've done that every year we've run it. We go a little bit bigger than the standard. And we've put some limitations very similar to the ITC ones in for this year off the back of some of the other events we've run with 8th edition, just to kind of get a feel for the community and what they want out of an event locally. We ran show at 2,000 points, but it was unrestricted. You could literally bring, as per the rulebook, whatever you wanted. And so we had a guy turn up with a Towner supremacy suit and about 80 drones.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
We had,
that sounds like something Brynley would do.
The first time we heard that
That's something I do. Something I do with my floor of dirty towel.
We had another guy turn up with Angrath the Unbound, the Khorne Forge World Demon Lord, Zarachniel, the Keeper of Secrets, the Forge World Demon Lord, and Big Bird, whose name I can't pronounce, the Forge World Zench Demon Lord.
Oh, yeah.
And 10 Brimstone.
Wow. You always get those sort of people at tournaments, though. Like, you just go.
The funny thing is, those two guys in question are really lovely guys. They both finished middle of the pack, and neither of them took the event seriously.
Wow.
The funny thing is, what we see, at least here in Perth, is most of the guys who bring those lists only bring them because it's, hey, I've got these models and I can run them.
Yeah, it's definitely done like for fun, rather than trying to take advantage or any kind of win at all costs kind of mentality. The
guy who won the event ran a fairly competitive stock guard army, essentially, before the Codex. But he finished off his final game was against a Dark Angel player with a Falchion.
Oh wow!
The Forge World super tank. So
holy crap!
it was an interesting 2 days because it meant that we got to see everyone. Like my favorite list of the weekend was a Revenant, Eldar Revenant, and then it was 7 Wraith Lords, I think, and then 1 Spirit Seer to make it legal.
Oh my goodness.
It was hilarious. I think he won 2 games out of 6, but it looked amazing.
We had fun.
That's me trying my hardest. 2 games out of 6, probably.
Yeah.
But Masters, we put some limits in place to kind of cap some of that stupidity or creativeness, maybe, and it means that we're going to get a tighter set of events. And I suppose one of the things we try and do with our events is make sure that we're clear on what we want players to expect from the outset. So we do an event called First Blood at the start of each year.
Oh, nice.
And it's like 750 points, 1,000 points, 1 patrol detachment. And there's a clause in the players pack that says, if I think your army list is too much like dog crap, I'll tell you to resubmit.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we sort of work like to start out gentle and friendly and start out relatively small and then build on that throughout the year until our final event, which is Masters, which is probably our most hardcore kind of event, but it's still not hardcore. We've never had table flipping or
no, it's very rare we actually end up in significant arguments. Most of the time the guys are pretty cruised out, and it's been very rare for me to intercede in a rules debate. So
yeah,
cool.
I certainly think us being as isolated as we are probably helps in that regard, where the tournaments, we are so insular even from the rest of Australia that we don't, I suppose you can't afford to be too much of a douchebag, because as soon as you are, the community doesn't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, you get a reputation pretty quickly. We don't have the gigantic 1,000+ people numbers like the States or the UK or Europe have. So in one local tournament, everyone else is going to learn it pretty quickly, who you are and what you're about, and they won't want anything to do with you. We've definitely seen that with a couple of individuals locally down here. So,
but the guys who like Big Bird and the Falchion and all that sort of stuff, they'll do that for one event, but they won't do it for the next, because they go, hey, I can run my toys, but I don't want to be that guy who always runs those toys.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
And I think that's okay in terms of, sometimes it's nice to let your hair down and do dumb shit.
And you've got these big toys. You want to stick them on a table. Those big toys cost a lot of money. Play with the damn things.
Yeah. Look, I'm definitely guilty of bringing 3 Riptides back in 7th edition to a 750-point tournament, and that was pretty.
He knows what that is. Awesome.
That was pretty dirty. I definitely cleaned up that tournament.
The first 7th tournament we had here in Perth was run by the guys down at Crags, and we had the rules for the 7th ed? Yeah, I think it was 7th ed I'm talking about. They had the rules for the Revenant released, and I've got a couple of Revenants along with my Phantom, and I got asked to bring the Revenant down with me in 1,750 points.
Oh wow!
And you can probably imagine how that went down.
You and Michael, the last guy we had on.
Duncan,
I published
nuts.
I literally gave them the army list, and they still whinged it, and they've still whinged to this day. But
there's a dude in chat called Duncan My Nuts. Congratulations on your name. That's impressive. A lot of people always blame GW for the army suit problems, but at some stage it comes down to players and TOs to monitor this.
Yeah. Self-regulation, I think, is something that a lot of gamers struggle with, though, because it's nice to win games. You feel good when you win. So it's really easy to just kind of take the easy out and take the most powerful thing and spend the money and go and win games to make yourself feel good. And I think as soon as you recognize that you have to self-regulate a little bit, that's when the community benefits.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. Wow, sounds like it's going to be. It's going to be a good tournament. We really look forward to hearing the results of it. So next segment in the show is basically what's been happening in the hobby lately. So Ryan, what's been happening in the world of Age of Sigmar? Oh, Ryan's gone. Right, so we're just going to talk about 40k.
Sorry, I was coughing. I was
coughing.
dying quietly, so nobody had to hear me cough up my lung.
I think.
What's
I
been
think,
going on
what is
with
it?
hobby lately? Nothing. I've been on my deathbed with like the worst viral infection or something on my chest. I don't know, but the sheer fact that I made it onto this cast tonight is a miracle. Praise Sigma. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I told you not to play Nurgle, buddy. Like, it was going to come
Yeah,
around and
that's
bite you
it.
eventually.
I've been touched by the grandfather's love. He has bestowed many gifts upon me, and I'm just getting used to them. I think I'm turning into a balding, middle-aged poxwalker.
If
You're only
anyone
middle-aged.
comes onto this channel and doesn't understand those references, it's going to sound like you're being molested.
I kind of feel like I have been in the chest
That's not helping.
and the head.
That's
Yeah.
still not helping.
You're on a list.
What do you want me to do? I can't do it. So I have done no hobby. I'm at my desk. I have a whole bunch of 3D printed cottages that I'm supposed to have done for me and Brynley. I've got a whole bunch of Nurgle stuff that's not painted. I've got a whole bunch of free guild stuff that needs to be rebased and painted, and that hasn't been done yet. I've got my Stormcast at Brynley's house, what he's doing. I've got an entire Death army, which hasn't been painted, but has been put on bases, which is at least something. I've got a Sylvaneth army, which has, I don't even know where that is. I've lost it. I think it's at somebody. I think somebody's making it for me. I think it's at John Priest's house. I think he's putting it together for me. Jono, if you're watching this, buddy, have you got my tree people?
Just deny it. You can use a new army. It's fine.
I don't know where my stuff is anymore. And I found a box of old Space Marines that I'm never ever going to use. So if anybody out there needs some Space Marines or is interested in dipping their toe in 40k, get hold of me because I'm not going to use them. Yeah.
Well, Space Marines are so rare in the hobby, man. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who want them.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone loves a Space Marine.
I've got too much plastic that needs paint. It's depressing.
You got a crack problem.
I don't really do.
Yeah.
I've got like 6 armies, and I think only one of them's actually fully painted.
I don't think you're alone.
No, he's definitely alone.
Yeah, I had more, but I've gotten rid of a lot of. I've got rid of like 3 40k armies and a AOS army. I got rid of an entire Empire army, which was mostly Cav. So sold it to some 9th age guy so he can play it a few more times as he circles the drain and watches that game system go down the tube. Was it too soon? It's too soon. I'm sorry. I mean it nicely. It's just that's what's happening. I don't know. I can't say it any other way. It's disappointing, but that's what's happening. But yeah, so that's it for me, man. What about you, Brynley?
All right. Well, I got some pretty pictures to share, so we'll.
That's great. Nobody cares. Michael, what's going on with you, buddy?
Let's all have a look at Ryan's. We'll have a look at Ryan's Stormcast. Currently, this is my desk at the moment, as of like 5 minutes before the cast. You can see latest edition of White Dwarf. Some really cool articles in there about Necromunda. Just been reading through them. I got the rest of these Drothkothian Guard to finish up, and then I've just got some Catachans that I'm still stripping, and then you can see a couple of Stormcast heroes that I'm going to be painting in a nice white marble armor. So we'll see how that goes. It might end terribly. Who knows?
Is that the Gryph-hound?
No. Oh yeah, the Gryph-hound. Yeah, I'm doing like a wash on it. It's gonna look alright. At least I hope it looks alright. Anyway, and this is the current pile of Stormcasts that I finished painted. So I finished up another 11 Liberators on the weekend. So that was a good achievement.
So how many more Liberators have you got to go? Because I know I gave you 30.
Well, no, that's it. You already painted 10. I just did, and there's 20 there. So we're good to go for Liberators. So you got nothing to worry about.
So I've got 30 painted Liberators. That is disgusting.
Yeah, so for anyone who wants to know Ryan's list, you're looking at it. So take careful note. John
There's
Priest,
also, you're missing 5 more Judicators, 5 more Retributors, Hurricaneum, and there should be at least another Relic Door and a Lord Celestin on foot and a Lord Castellan and a Knight Heralder.
I
Yeah,
like the
there's a whole
fact
bunch of
that
crap.
Bloodburn in the background there with his whips.
Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah, there's actually a Tau drone there as well, and there's like 1,000 bases in the bag of bases that Dave gave me. So, thanks, mate. slowly getting there.
Yeah, that's a pretty nasty looking whip, actually. That's some BDSM shit going on there.
Yeah, well, I've got a special display I'm working on, but you can tune in onto our adult channel after 12 tonight for
Good God.
for more views on that. It's gonna get full of GIMP masks. Maybe stop watching this show if you're offended by that. It's only gonna get worse. So how do I stop sharing? Hold on.
You started the invisible thing.
Button,
how did you manage that?
There we go. I'm all over it. I got this.
There we go.
Well done.
You just
technologically competent here. Everyone. You're welcome. You're welcome. High degree of production value we've got going.
That's right. Apparently, my little girl Tiffany has been hobbing at my desk as well because I found her Barbie's brush. So clearly, there's been some hobbying going on whilst I've been sick on my desk. At least somebody's making use of it.
She's just trying to make your Stormcar. I mean, she's just trying to make your Nurgle prettier. Just make them look a little bit better from the.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. So what about the two of you, Emma, Michael? Any hobby stuff?
Yeah, guys,
have you had any time for it?
I have done nothing because I was dying of man flu last week. So
I feel you, sister.
Yeah. So we've got 2 weeks between now and our event for Masters where I'm pretty much going to go through the boxes of terrain. I know we've got a ship interior table which needs repairing, a lot of repair. So I'll go through and make sure all of that's been repaired and sorted. And
Probably the day before the tournament.
Well, if I have to wait for you to help out with the terrain, then it'll be the night before the tournament. But my intention is to do it over the next 2 weeks.
I'm not going to deny I hate building and painting terrain. That's not my thing. That's fine.
No.
So.
And now you've got your.
Now I've got to paint an army.
You've got your. So it's going to be like pushing mud uphill trying to get you to help with terrain. But we'll get there, won't we?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I've got a Magnus the Red for 40k that I've been painting for a commission. I've got to put the finishing touches on in the next day or two to hand back to the client.
Magnus
and
the Red.
Yeah.
1,000 Suns.
Big demon. Yeah. The big red demon lord.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they did do something wrong, just for the record. So everyone knows where I stand with those guys. Carry on.
Oh, I get the reference. Taking me a second. It's been a long day.
Hey, I was just reading one of their books. I can't remember.
It was an inside job. I'm just saying it. I'm a conspiracy theorist.
No, somebody was talking about it online this morning, and they were like, "Oh no, they did nothing wrong. Why does everyone hate them?" But if he turned into a demon, then he probably did something wrong.
Oh, something right. You did everything right.
Yeah, I know I'm like an AOS fan, but I'm pretty sure it's common knowledge that if you turn into a demon, you done fucked up. Like you did something.
Yeah, if you're like a Stormcast or something, but if you're like a fully sick person, turning into a demon is like the best thing that can happen.
Winning.
Yeah,
so that's a commission job, was it?
Yeah, I do the odd model for people. I've done a few of the Forge World Primarchs for a couple of different guys, and this is the guy in question wants me to do this, and then he's asked me to look at Mortarion next. And the commissions I do are generally for mates, and I do them at really low costs, and then they understand that it might take me 9 months to get it finished.
Because he's not very good at
because I procrastinate. Motivated. So.
Well, they do say, why do today what you can put off till tomorrow?
Exactly.
No, or the day after that.
I've basically just got to get the airbrush out and do the last touches on the wings and then finish the assembly. And look, it's probably a couple of hours work to finish it off. But I've been procrastinating and procrastinating and procrastinating. So this is the week it'll get done. And then I'll send you a photo for you
Because
next.
he's procrastinating and doesn't want to do the terrain.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'll
tell you what,
I'll send you next week for
send
you.
us a photo when it's done so we can put it up and say, look, he did finish something.
Yeah, we'll hold you to it. We'll hold you to it. We'll hit you up in a week and see how it's going.
Look, if it all goes to well, I'll probably have it done by the end of the week, and I'll send it through to you so you can put it on next week's episode.
Deal.
All right, we'll do it. Definitely look at that.
And then
Definitely hit that up.
And then the Gene Stealer cult. I built so many models. It's been actually a lot of fun. I haven't done this level of personal hobby since January, basically, when I built my last army when I went to LVO. So It was nice to kind of do some personal hobby rather than building terrain or painting terrain or writing players packs or any of the other stuff that you end up doing as a TO. So
if you like doing personal hobby, I've got like 3 or 4 armies here that I can send you if you want.
Yeah, so does he.
Yeah, and if you're doing it, I mean, I don't have to do it, so that'd be awesome.
Like I don't mind. Obviously, I'd be doing you a favor, so it's fine.
No, that is so kind. You are all hard.
I know. Right? It's hard being this generous and humble.
Yeah.
look, over the years, you've got to give me some credit. My amount of unpainted plastic has dramatically reduced. I paint more than I buy now.
I don't know. Like, it's still painted or not. Like, how many armies do you have?
Oh, he's probably not going to want to admit to this.
Yeah, because keeping in mind, I've seen a few photos, so you have to be honest.
We've seen.
Okay, so I'm going to count my Eldar as 1.
No, you can't count your Eldar as 1. Just your dick points alone are an army. Come on.
Okay, so in theory, since my first Rogue Trader army, I probably got 7 different Craftworld armies.
Jeez.
Including Titans and Super Heavies and all that sort of stuff. Then I've got my Corsairs, my Dark Eldar cult, my Harlequins, my Sisters of Battle, 2 different Grey Knight armies, my Dark Angels Greenwing, my Dark Angels Deathwing, my Khorne Demons, my Chaos Emperor's Children, my Space Wolves. I feel like I've forgotten some.
Yeah, so do I.
Gene Stealer cult at the moment. I'm sure, I don't know. They're the ones I can think of off the top of my head.
So for all of our
Ryan,
watchers, those are all the armies that Emma and Michael are currently putting up for sale on our show exclusively. They're taking the plunge and they're moving into Age of Sigmar, and in order to do that, they need to fully separate themselves from 40k. If you want those armies, feel free to contact them on their Facebook page.
No, don't get in touch with her. She'll sell them for what I told her they're worth.
Yeah, that's how it works, buddy. That's the risk. That's what do we've all got that letter with our lawyer for when we pass away.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Look, I do have one Age of Sigmar army that's my Dark Elves from Fantasy 4th edition or 5th edition. I think they're they're all metal. But technically, I suppose that's an AOS army, isn't it?
Some of it. Some of it. I mean, a lot of it's been compendiumized or split off or put into different factions, and now there's like 6,000 different types of elves, ranging from all shades of dark. You've got grey elves, dark elves, black elves, green elves, 50 shades of grey elves. There's just all the elves. Yeah, some that come off the table and some that don't. So, I don't know. I'm yet to start an elves army. So.
I've already said to one of the local managers here who looks after the Fremantle store, Mitch, as soon as I get the new Shadow Elf range for AOS, that's when he'll have me back in the store buying AOS.
Dude, AOS is
hang on. That's when I'll be back in the store buying AOS.
Mate, I guarantee you not a single piece of plastic is bought without the strictest of permissions being granted by the Minister of War and Finance.
She now knows what it means when I start talking about different 40k armies. I can't sneak it in anymore.
Good work. Good work. That's how you keep that on lock.
ears?
I did have some of them ears.
Yeah, some of them you just snuck down the back passageway.
Oh, I just remembered I've got Imperial Knights and I've got AdMech
Yeah.
as well.
Wait, sorry, you've got an Imperial Knights army?
Yeah, I've got 3 of them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Four.
that's an army.
4, 3,
That's an
4.
army.
One of the 2.
That's a big army.
And then yeah, my Mechanicum as well. So there's 2 more to add to the list.
Holy
Oh,
crap.
and I've got a Primaris army sat there from the 2 starter boxes.
You're not missing much there. Get rid of them. Chuck them on eBay. $75 a pop.
I paid 50 for them. I'd be making money.
There you go. See, winning. I'm here to help you transition.
Or you're here to screw me because she's hearing all this.
Oh, look, it's a much better gaming system. I'm just here to help, mate. I'm here to help. That's all. So you've got a lot of armies.
Yeah.
Which means that you'd know a lot of miniatures, and you'd be able to identify a lot of miniatures. Yes.
Hopefully.
Okay.
As long as they're 40K.
Especially the booty, maybe.
Perhaps the rear end.
The booty, because you're about to start a game we like to call Guess That Booty.
I watched
Ryan's
last
gonna throw
week's episode.
That's
I'm
it.
up for this.
Continuation
Right, so this is obviously you are in a very fortunate position where you're able to call upon the assistance of your better half.
Oh yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah, that's a benefit.
Yeah.
So I feel before we start that Emma's probably going to carry the team here a little bit. We have mixed it up. It's 50-50 AOS and 40K. So basically, Brynley and I are going to show you pictures of bums, and this is your opportunity to look at bums and guess who they belong to. So I'm going to start it off now and get you to guess that booty.
It's disappeared.
Where's it gone?
Hold on. We gotta lock the screen.
Give me 1 second.
The
There we go.
Vindicare.
So guess that booty, mate.
It's a Vindicare Assassin.
Yeah, it's got it.
Damn, that was good. Really? How did you? Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, that was good.
Right,
I'm impressed. All right. Okay. Next one.
I'm
Here we go.
recording in crayon as usual. So that's one.
Here we go. Guess that booty.
That is a Astra Militarum Ogren.
Damn
Oh
it.
my god. All right, that's 2. That
Right,
was
that's
really
2.
good. Sorry,
That was good.
you spend a lot of time looking at plastic bums?
That's all I'm allowed to look at while she's here.
Fair enough. Okay. Here we go.
We make this game harder, Ryan.
Guess that booty.
Death Jester, Harlequin Death Jester.
Oh, damn it.
God damn
I didn't
it.
think you'd get that one. All right.
Ah.
I have 6 of those.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
I just, for the record, I have to say that this is one of my most favorite minis from 40K.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sculpt, and they give you 2 alternate heads for it as well.
I think it's awesome. I really do. I don't even know where it comes from or the fluff behind it, but it's so cool. All right. That's 3 for 3 so far. Guess that booty.
That is a Thousand Suns Rubric Marine.
Yes.
Damn it.
All right. It's all right, Brynley. Don't worry. When it gets into the AOS, he's going to screw up. It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Guess that booty.
Oh, hang on. I want to say it's a Poxwalker.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Is
one
Poxwalker right,
ugly mofo. All right.
Five.
Okay. This
Right,
is
got
this is
5.
it. This is it. Here we go. Guess that booty.
Plaguebearer.
Not quite. It's a Herald of Nurgle.
Oh.
He's an attractive fellow.
Hmm.
All right.
I'm amazed he doesn't fall over.
Just want some friends.
I wonder if he's always hungry. Anyway. Guess that booty.
I know the model. Oh God, I can't even think of the name of it. It's Slaughter Beast. It's the same kit as the Slaughter Beast.
So close. Slaughter Brute.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
So I'm willing to give you half a point for that one.
Yeah, right. So 5.5.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
I'm above average at this point. I'm fine.
Next one. Here we go. Guess that booty.
Saurus Old Blood.
Oh, Croxagore.
Oh, it's same range.
Same range.
Yes. All right. Okay. Here we go. Guess that booty.
That is. Oh, what's the model called? It's a Slayer, and it's. Oh, it's not Gotrek. God damn it! I know exactly. It's the model leaping with 2 axes in the air. I know exactly the model it is. I don't know the name for it. It's a Slayer of some kind.
I need a name, man. I've got to get a name.
Pick one.
I have to go Gotrek then. I don't think it's Gotrek, but
Unforged.
oh, there you go. I knew exactly the model it was.
You did. That you did. And
That you did. You're all over it.
I took great pleasure in knowing that you didn't have the name. Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a very strict game of names here. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's just how we roll. So, and especially after you did so well with 40K. All right. So this is the last one. This is your last chance.
That's not an AOS model. That's not an AOS model. You cheated.
Say again. Sorry.
It's not a square base. It's not an AOS model, mate.
Well,
oh yeah. Our bad ninth age.
It depends on. Yeah, good call actually. But I never said that it was strictly 40K and AOS. Oh,
No.
Here we go. Last one. Guess that booty.
Oh,
A lot of
That's a
change.
hot piece of ass.
that's a nice piece of ass.
That's a lot of change. Yeah. Oh, same kid.
Karos Fate Weaver.
They're literally the same parts.
Yeah, but
Right,
that's
so
like saying that that model had the same base as the other one, therefore I should get half a point, right?
I should get at least half a point for that one.
I
Give
don't
me
know.
my 6, damn it.
You've scored 5.5 crayons out of 10.
Oh, come on. I want an investigation into like rules tampering or judges'
Rule
rules.
tampering. Do you
Fair
think this is a
enough. Well,
fair system?
There's a complaint section on our Facebook page. Please feel free.
Yeah.
It's not monitored, but please feel free to send us a letter.
We don't give a fuck at AUSHAMMER.com.
Oh, you've used it before? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time someone complains, you just throw a cat meme on there. So.
Hey, look, I'm pleased I got the 40K ones. That's all I came here to do. It's fine.
That's it. You're all over it. You did better than all of the 40K ones because you got 5.5 crayons out of 10. So.
Yes, that you did.
You'd be so proud.
That's a 55% success rate, so that's pretty darn good.
You're in the top 2 for Guess That Booty.
Yeah.
out of 2.
Be proud. Yeah. Out of 2.
It's all good too.
Actually,
Look,
at some point, I'm putting last.
Actually, no. You know what? You're actually at it's out of 3 because we had our list off episode on Friday, and Clint, who's doing the TOing for the AOS side of CanCon, didn't get one of them out of 10.
Yeah.
So,
Not last.
yes. So, but you know, so just to quote Talladega Nights here, if you ain't first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
Look, I can be the first loser. That's fine.
Fair enough. No, I think that was really good. Brynley, that's it for Guess That Booty tonight, buddy.
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure we just lost all of our viewers because that's what they watch. Just here to Guess That Booty,
Yeah, they just come here for the booty.
and they just leave. Just like some cheap cool girls. Oh, it's terrible.
That's all they want.
All right, so
According to Ryan, that's your hair. So Yeah, we're hiding the hair under the beanie, mate.
God damn it! I told you that in confidence, Michael.
No. His beanie stays on. Beanie stays on. I'll do a Christmas reveal of my hair.
A Christmas reveal.
We'll work up to it. There may or may not be a mohawk under here.
That'd be cool.
There's not a mohawk. There better not ever be a mohawk. If there's ever a mohawk, I am going to ruin you on cast. Like, I'll have a field day.
I'm okay with it.
Our show mascot had a mohawk.
Yeah. See?
Yeah, but Brynley with a mohawk would just. That's. Yeah, nah.
I was going to get my head shaved to match, and I got told no.
What are you talking about? It only take 45 seconds. It's like 6 hairs gone, done. I don't know how you feel. Look at this. It's happening to me too. I'm just lucky I've got a long fringe. Covers it.
Slowly coming apart. All right, so that concludes Guess That Booty. Next section of our evening, basically, we just talk about what's happening in the hobby as a whole. So Ryan's going to take us away with what's been happening in Age of Sigmar. And thanks, Ryan.
Not much, honestly. It's ever since the drop of 8th, not much has been going on. Well, not like nothing, but there's been a large 40k focus, and that's good. I think GW need to run with that because 40k needed that overhaul. But there hasn't been that much going on. I mean, Shadespire's dropped, and everybody covers it and talks about it, and it's great and blah 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 blah. So if you haven't heard about Shadespire yet, you should feel terrible about yourself. You're a terrible person. Go on the GW website and have a look. You've got the Orcs and the the Death Rattle people now, as well as the Stormcast and the Khorne guys. So it's pretty cool. If you haven't had a game yet, swing around to your local club and have a game because it's really cool. But the other thing that I was reading about today was Blood Bowl. The Elven Union has dropped for Blood Bowl, which is pretty cool.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's. I kind of feel like every single one of the minis for it though look like Scorpion out of Mortal Kombat, but with Fabio's hair. So I don't know. It's yeah. It's. I don't know. But that's pretty cool. And then, other than that, there's not really a lot for AOS, other than the Shadespire stuff and the Blood Bowl stuff. So I will leave it at that. And honestly, I'm more focused on Necromunda at the moment myself as well. So
so good.
Yeah.
So we'll just go straight over into 40k. So I think we still got a fair bit of chatter going on about the Elder Codex that was released. Everyone's still pretty excited about that. But I think more focus has definitely been taken up by the new Tyranids that are coming out and the sneak peek of the Dark Angels, which has been thrown around. I'm personally more excited about Necromunda because that's pretty exciting. I used to play it back in the day. Latest White Dwarf, definitely get it if you haven't already. It's absolutely packed full of all the new Necromunda goodies. I was hoping they were going to do this when they did Shadespire. I'm like, oh man, I really wish they did something for 40k. And they're like, oh, we got Necromunda coming out. I'm just like, oh yeah.
So it is like Shadespire, yeah. It's a board game. It's not a tabletop game, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I'm a bit conflicted by that. If it's not a proper tabletop game, like that's not Necromunda.
Yeah. See, okay. So my issue was the same thing. But they're releasing a PDF format that allows you to adapt basically what they've got Necromunda here onto what we knew Necromunda to be not too long ago. So it's the same. It's Necromunda, but just different rules.
Yeah.
Or AOS. No,
it's Necromunda, just a totally different game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it. I can't. Yeah.
Oh, look,
Did you guys play? Did you guys play Necromunda when it came out?
Back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've still got my Van Sar lurking around somewhere in a box.
Yeah, back when we still had hair.
Yeah. Or maybe not.
Yeah.
No, I've still got my Van Sars, and I've got a couple of rat skins and some of the hired guns lurking around. I did have Spires at one point, and I'm really gutted I got rid of them all those years ago.
Yeah. I was always a big fan of House Goliath, and so I'm really happy that they're part of the box set. So
Mohawk theme.
All those Mohawks, gotta love them. Yeah, so that's Necromunda. Seriously, check it out. Everyone's talking about it. It's gonna be insane. I'm looking forward to it. Basically, it's been big release, big focus on the NIDs. For those of you who play NIDs, it's going to be a really big. There's quite a few changes to the codex. Just off the top of my head, there's your Carnifex is cheaper, and your the old One Eye, the character, you've gone from 10 wounds to 9. For those of you who don't really, that's a big issue. My friend plays that quite a lot. It actually means I can't shoot his old One Eye anymore because it's got 9 wounds and it's still absolutely insane. So that's going to be a big change. And then have you guys been following on what's happening with the new Dark Angels release?
Yeah, I saw a bunch of the rumors and stuff come circulating through today, which I don't buy most of.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've seen the rumors that you're talking about. I'm not sure to think of it. It seems we haven't had a leak like that in that sort of format before.
We've got a couple of different sources that we get stuff sent to us. Nothing official yet, hopefully, maybe.
Yeah.
But like people talking about the Lion returning in the Codex. No.
Yeah. You don't reckon it's going to happen?
I have it on very good authority from 3 different sources that's fan made. It'll be a book release only with no models.
Oh, that's probably a good thing. I think we've got enough Primarchs going on. Out of the Lion and Sanguinius, who would you rather have back?
The Lion, because Sanguinius has no head.
But he might be a cyborg.
Oh, look, I mean,
the head's the hardest part to paint.
The head is the hardest part to paint. So, that's true.
This is like Gilliman comes with a
helmet. No, I like talking to a couple of the guys I know interstate and abroad. Both those books are essentially just books. One of them did mention some Primaris characters for the Blood Angels being added with new clan packs.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Other than that, as from what I'm hearing at least, it's all they're easy codexes to release. They're basically a book with no required support. And if you go back through and look at what they've been doing, we got the 2 big sort of heavy supplement in the Death Guard and the Space Marine ranges where they got huge ranges of new kits and new models and all the rest of it. But we got Eldar, which was just a repack of Eldrad from a box set from 18 months ago. We got Tyranids with no new models. We got Astra Militarum, which was no new models. We got Admech, which was no new models. Like it's almost like they're doing the easy update codexes that they know they can do. The models are all current. There's nothing missing from the ranges because obviously that's a big thing for them these days. So it just feels like, and if you look at what they've removed, for example, like they took the Rough Riders and the Vendetta out of the Guard book because there's no current models for them. So I don't know. I think the chances, being this close to release, the chances of the Lion coming back for the Dark Angels are, in my mind, 0.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have noticed that pattern with the codexes as well. I'll be interested to see what they do with some of the older codexes that haven't been updated as recently. I've got a feeling that's why they've been pushed back. Like, a lot of the new codexes have definitely been released a lot quicker. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all goes. So there's like a lot going on in the 40k universe. There's going to be a lot happening in the next few weeks. I think it's going to keep going well and truly past Christmas.
Well, Demons is the first for 2018, which will be interesting.
Yeah. So there's like they've got a whole line already, all lined up. So I don't in just in regards to like local meta, I don't know how much NIDS is going to affect the NIDS codex is going to affect local meta. I remember when the guard dropped, we had big issues here with a couple of local tournaments. Suddenly having 50% of their player base taking guard. I can't see that happening with NIDS, but who knows? Have you guys obviously have a bit better insight? You guys reckon it's going to drop as hard as people seem to think it was going to?
Look, I mean, we've got a couple of guys who regularly, regardless of the edition, have always run either NIDS or NIDS and Gene Stealer Cult, or that sort of. There's probably 3 or 4 of them who've done it as long as I've known them through our events, and most of the questions we've had about the Tyranid release, because obviously it drops this Saturday.
Yeah.
And our army lists for Masters are due on Sunday.
Well, they were due Friday.
They were due Friday, but due to overwhelming popular demand, I moved the players pack and allowed them to run it, because it seems foolish to allow it, to disallow it, sorry, because of an arbitrary 12 hours, basically. But I don't think, particularly for Masters, with only a week out, I can't see too many people knocking an army together that quickly.
I know there's 1 or 2.
There's a couple of crazies who will, but I don't think we're going to.
I don't think we're going to see 40 out of 80 come with that.
No, I think if we're going to end up in the 60 to 80 range of players, then I think we'll probably end up with half a dozen running them. But I think 3 or 4 will have already had existing armies. There'll be some dude who pulls out an army from 5th edition and runs it again. And there'll be a couple of crazies who decide they want to build and paint it in a week. Events.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, so that's pretty much what's happening with Warhammer world at the moment. So basically, final segment, we're going to be continuing on our second segment of the secret life of the tournament organizer. So those of you who are just listening in now, we've got with us Emma and Michael from Objective Secured. They're all the way over in Perth.
It's gone dark here, if it makes you feel better.
Yeah, it's actually dark now. This is how long we've been talking for.
The lights over here is now kind of glaring, but that's okay.
Oh, look, Michael, don't worry, sweetie. You look fabulous.
Hang on.
Look
I'll blind you. There we go.
Giggity, all right.
Yeah, so it's so good to have you guys on the show, and we're so excited to be able to pick your brains about what it's like being tournament organizers. So you guys were saying earlier in the show.
Don't do it.
Yeah. You guys were saying earlier in the show, you guys have started in 2000. You guys did your first tournament in 2015?
Yeah,
as OBSEC, yeah.
OBSEC, and then you've just come back from a major tournament over in the States.
Well, we were in LA for SoCal, which the original intent with the holiday was for me to go and play that, but that just didn't pan out based on our trips and whatnot. But it did give me a chance to meet some of the guys over there who I've met when I went to LVL at the start of the year, and pick some brains about what's going on over there and how their local communities differ to some of the bigger events like Adepticon and LVO. And then we've just had the 40K ATC as well, which was in Melbourne this year. And normally, the last 3 years in a row, I've been the WA captain, but I didn't go this year because we had show and then we went away straight after. But talking to the team who came back from Melbourne, it's obvious, to me at least, that WA plays 40K differently to the rest of the country, let alone the world, because we are so isolated. So it's certainly an interesting dichotomy.
We are that isolated.
No, I say it perceived as isolated is probably a better way of describing it. I mean, at the end of the day, getting to Perth these days, if you plan it, isn't any more expensive than going anywhere else in Australia. But I suppose there's a perceived distance involved. And so getting people to come to Perth to play tournaments, we do have a few that do it. But I suppose that talk to the guys from the ATC team in Queensland, and it's like, oh my God, Perth's so far away. But if you book the flight 6 months in advance because you know when the event is and you know what's going to happen, then it's not as expensive as people like to think. And that's part of what we try and do. And the reason we publish, particularly stuff for show, we put a lot of information out into the community because we want people to come over and experience part of Perth's community and be part of what we try and do and what the clubs in Perth try and do.
Yeah.
So, chatting to the guys over in America, what are some of the big differences that you've noticed between tournaments in America and tournaments in Australia?
Well, I mean, I was at LVO this February just gone for one of the last 7th ed tournaments, and I didn't make it to day 3, sadly. That would have been nice. But I was on table 8 going into round 6. I played Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics in the final game of day 2. I was ranked 16th out of 500.
Holy crap. Which
I was pretty pleased with going into that round. And then he seized on me and I got my butt handed to me. And dropped to 50th, but that's okay. And I certainly think a lot of the preconceived notions about tournament goers, about how everyone's so hardcore and how everyone wants to win and it's all win at all costs, whack garbage, is just that. It's garbage. Because not one of the 6 games I played at LVO, which is one of the most competitive American events, did I hate. All the guys I played were nice. I had 6 fun games. I lost 2 of the 6 of them. And even day 3, when I played in the single player open, I had one game that was a bit tense, but it wasn't a game that I hated. And then the other 2 games were completely fine, even though, again, I had one of those games where I just got absolutely smashed. So,
but having said that, I guess, so the events that we run, when we run 2-day events, we would, out of the 60 to 80 players who come, we would generally not have anyone that doesn't turn up for day 2. So if they come to day 1, unless there's, if a family member gets sick, or everyone's got, not everyone's got kids, but people have kids. If a kid becomes unwell or a wife becomes unwell, or, and something happens and people can't make it, they'll let us know. But it's quite rare that happens. Whereas when you're playing for LVO, people were just dropping out throughout the entire event.
Yeah, and, that's very true, actually.
And for day 2 of the LVO, obviously the numbers were dwindled, but day 3, people just didn't turn up, and then that caused a huge issue for the TOs trying to pull together players. And
yeah, that was something, I don't know how much it happens on the East Coast, but yeah, you're 100% right.
It doesn't happen here.
The perceived, certainly at LVO, like round 2, I watched 12 people leave at the end of round 2 because they'd lost 2 games in a row and they couldn't win.
They couldn't win.
They literally just dropped from a 2-day tournament that's cost them $80 US.
Oh wow!
$80
plus whatever else they'd spent to be there.
No, plus the extra $40.
Oh, the convention entry, yeah.
Oh, holy
so,
crap.
And that's the thing. Like LVO, I think they ended up with, was it 390 something or low 400s that actually finished all 6 games.
Oh wow!
So I think the dropout rate, now that might just, because we haven't had a tournament where we've had 500 players in, we don't know whether that's a direct correlation to quantity or whether that's an environmental, like a community driven thing. But certainly the big thing that tends to happen, talking to the guys I know in the States, is that the guys who go along to win, if they don't win their first couple of games, it's not uncommon for players to just drop and go and get a beer. Like even
which to me, that's bordering on getting close to win at all costs.
Yeah, look, I struggle with that because like Lawrence seized on me in game 6. I lost a third of my army in the first turn and then killed 1 jet bike in response.
Oh.
And he said to me, "Oh, do you want to call it?" And I went, "No." And he went, "Oh, okay, cool." And we played out a 2.5-hour game where I made him work for his points.
Yeah, good.
And
make that bitch work.
He still won the game, but I got a few moral victories in there, and
you had fun.
It was a really enjoyable game, and it kind of, I don't know what it is, but that really bothers me that a player would go to a tournament and then just go, "Oh, I've lost my first 2 games out of 6, I can't win, so therefore I'm not playing." Like, I don't understand that as a thought process.
Well, I think maybe when they're going there with the thought of, I'm going there to win. I'm going there so I can take home a prize. And the moment the reality dawns on them that, oh, I'm not going to be going home with a prize, they just sort of toss their shit out the cot and go, well, fuck it, I'm going home.
That's
And
it. It
then-
comes down to motivating you to actually attend.
The funny thing is, for me, LVO was one of the first tournaments I've ever gone to that I went, I would dearly love to make at least the top 8 to go on to day 3. That was my goal. I wanted top 8. And I didn't get that, but just because I lost game 1. I literally lost my very first game. And that wasn't about to stop me playing the whole weekend. Just
it was
because,
attempting to submarine.
yeah, let's go with that. But I don't know, like, I think as a player, you've got to have realistic expectations. And I think one of the biggest flaws in a lot of communities is the players who go there thinking, you know, they go from their group of mates where there's 4 of them playing in the shed and they win every week. And they go to a tournament thinking that is going to continue, and they set themselves up for disappointment.
Big fish in a little pond compared to swimming in the ocean.
And I don't know. I think that's an adjustment that needs to happen at a player level rather than have TOs affect it, because ultimately it's come down to the players and their expectations and what they're trying to achieve. And if they go to want to win, that's fine.
But as a TO, because I mean, both of you as TOs, how does that feel when it happens to you as TOs for players to just sort of drop and piss off out of a tournament that you've put hours and hours and hours and hours into organising?
Look,
Yeah, really not great. We've only had it once where we've had someone who had a really bad day 1, and he's like, oh, look, there's no point in me coming tomorrow. And what we try and get people to understand is, yes, we've put weeks of work into organising the events, but if you decide not to come tomorrow, that doesn't just affect you, it affects all the players in the room, because it now means that we have an uneven number of players and we have buys, and and we generally have ringers, but we might not necessarily be able to get a ringer in at short notice, and so
it also stuffs up the rankings at the end of the day. When you have players who 3 games in, they've won 2, they've lost 1, and they go, no, I'm not coming tomorrow. Well, you're actually still in contention at that point, and you can directly affect the final outcome.
Yeah.
So
and buys affect the rankings as well. So it's all that kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that it's frustrating for us that people would consider just dropping out because they can't win. Well, no, you can't. But the whole weekend or the whole event isn't just about winning. There's all this other stuff that goes into an event. So.
And I think, not to mention the fact that when you have a community of players, I mean, you go to a tournament to win, and that's fine, but I think there's also the community side of it where you do have I've got a bunch of friends who are tournament friends. I don't see them outside of going to a tournament. And we hang out between rounds, we go to the bar or whatever it is.
And that's one of the reasons that we actually serve alcohol at our events, is because we see the events as, a really important social networking opportunity for players. Like it's important to have friends and to have fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. For 90% of the wargaming community, it's about getting out there, meeting guys in your community that share the same hobbies you, and having fun throwing some dice around on the table. Not this.
You go home with a trophy.
Yeah, and then
that's definitely
there's
one of these
also
things that
it's bad sportsmanship to just.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what it comes down to. That's pretty much one of these things. As tournament organizers, between the first tournament you guys ran and the most recent tournament you guys have run, what would be the biggest thing you've noticed, and like a piece of wisdom you would want to pass on to people who are thinking about running their own tournaments? What have you learnt between those 2 big events?
Be organised.
Be organised.
Don't believe that your co-organizer has all this shit in his head.
Yeah, I do.
No, darling.
I suppose one of the interesting.
We will talk.
But for both of us,
I'll be back.
We both operate very differently in how we manage our time and how we manage.
Like, I actually have a plan, and he wings it.
I keep it all in my head, and she likes to write it all down, and that's created a few issues for us. So I suppose making sure that if you are organising with someone else, have a very clear structure and a method of keeping track of everything, because you will avoid some of the things that will slip through the cracks. And have you organised score sheets, or have you done this, or have you done that? Or I've got it in my head that we're doing it this way, and then you get to the tournament and your co-organiser goes, why are we doing it that way? We're going to do it this way. And you end up having to come up with something on the fly.
So I'll give you an example. Our first event, I wasn't supposed to be involved with it all. I just went along to that first event as like an extra pair of hands. I was, you know, selling raffle tickets, that kind of thing. And when we get there, Michael realises we don't have any table numbers. So we've got 66 players coming over 2 floors, and we don't have any table numbers at all.
Wow.
And so he's there trying to work out, can we, so he's got a bit of A4 paper that he's ripped up into 35 pieces that he's trying to stick on with a piece of masking tape onto MDF.
It wasn't a perfect plan.
It was no plan.
Oh, wow.
And there's a lot of small details that people don't even notice in events. But if you don't think about all the small details, then you end up with 10 minutes in your first round with people going, well, is that table 5 or is that table 15? Or someone's wearing the tag for table 22. So, you know.
These are all very specific things that you're mentioning now as well. So
we've learned since the table tag issue, but they're made of MDF now, and they're too heavy to put on as a badge.
Yeah.
No, look, I suppose the other thing is we're very fortunate, and anyone wanting to organise their own events should probably make sure they have this before they actually get started, is a support network of volunteers, because when we turn up, set up for a day, we generally don't get to go in the night before.
No.
It's got to be done the morning of. So we'll get to the venue at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we'll set up for 2 hours before the doors open. And we're very fortunate to have probably a dozen different guys who, depending on their free availability and the event in question, and if they're playing or not, some of them come along and help even if they're not playing.
Yeah.
And they'll come in and they'll give their own time to help set up tables and make sure that terrain's out and vaguely set up the way that it needs to be. In some cases very well, in some cases they'll just chuck it on the table and we'll follow around and sort the terrain out afterwards. And they'll help set up trestle tables and chairs, and a couple of them bring their partners and drag their partners along to help do it. And we certainly do that for 60 or 70 players without those volunteers who come out of their own free accord and their own time to help us to deliver what we do to the community. And, you know, we even saw that at show. We had 3 days. We actually got to go in the day before the event, and we packed up the day after the event. And we set up 110 trestle tables for show.
Crazy.
And when you actually,
it was crazy,
you know, that we had one helper there for most of the morning, and then we had another one come for the afternoon, and we had 2 others who came for a couple of hours here and there, and then a couple more came at the end of the day for setup, and we were still there 10 hours. And for pack up, there were the 2 of us plus 2 others consistently there for about 5 hours. And even at the end of day 3, when it was all said and done, we had about 10 guys hang around and help us box up all the terrain and sort the boards out for the different clubs and all that sort of stuff. So
that's really decent.
If you don't have that, you know, if you don't have that volunteer, that support network around you of guys who want to be part of something bigger than themselves and want to help see these events happen, then you're going to have a lot of work yourself, and that could be very off-putting for someone if they don't have that support for their first event.
There's no way that we could do.
No, absolutely not.
Ourselves.
Even that first event we ran in 2015, I had a friend of mine come down at about 8 o'clock, and he and I lugged.
That was the night before.
That was the night before.
He came down and brought his partner and pizza.
And he brought food for us, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
wow.
can't ask for more than that.
She was in her pajamas.
He didn't bring any beer. So.
No beer. But, you know, those networks of support that you have, whether it's friends, family, you know, you can't take them for granted. You've got to appreciate what they do. And, you know, at the very least saying thank you. There's a lot of the time we'll like give guys free entry for helping out, and or, you know, a couple of free drinks during the day, or they'll get coffees and stuff in the morning while we're setting up. We try and do what we can within the budget that we have.
But I guess it's around the fact that we're really passionate about trying to create that sense of community. So it's, and I think because we have got that sense of community, people are prepared to pitch in and help. Whereas I guess we've seen other events where you haven't got that sense of belonging to something bigger, and people are like, I'm paying to be here, why would I set up? And it's interesting seeing that difference in the mentality that goes with it. But we certainly appreciate the help that everyone gives us. Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
What's as a TO, or as TO, sorry, what's the...
No, we're one person, it's
We're one
fine.
and the same.
Well, yeah, and I do see you that way, because just when you guys talk about stuff, it feels like you automatically know who's got what, and it doesn't seem like there's much worry about, oh, has Emma remembered the thing, or Emma going, oh shit, has Michael remembered to put his undies on? Like, you both just sort of go into some sort of mode where you know what needs to be done and you just get on with it. But what's your pet peeve?
Yeah.
As TOs, what's the biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve is I love the players to death. I absolutely do. They're like family. But for crying out loud, buy your freaking tickets early. That'd be my biggest pet peeve.
Okay, cool.
2 days before the event, and
Michael.
you're going, seriously, guys, I know you're coming, but I need numbers because we've got to get this terrain sorted. Come on. Help me out here.
You know what? I sympathise and 100% agree with that.
But he does the same thing. He still hasn't got his ticket for the weekend.
No, I've messaged the TO just before this call. Like, are there still tickets for this weekend?
And that's because,
no.
probably 2 hours before, I'm saying to him, have you got your ticket for Skulls yet?
She hasn't said I could go yet.
I
Anyway.
could go yet. Well,
I suppose...
I'll address this next question at clearly the head of Objective
Hang
Secured.
on. My biggest one for players, my pet peeve for players, read the freaking players pack. You bastard.
I don't do that.
No, neither does he.
Neither do I. I do understand
I don't do
that.
it at all.
But the amount of time that could be saved, particularly game one, by reading the players pack and understanding what's going on is huge. And for those of you in WA who are coming to Masters this weekend,
I don't know. You can't tell people because then they'll know.
Just read the players pack.
read the bloody
pack.
players pack. I'll fill you in offline as to what we've done, but
Read the players pack.
read the players pack, people.
Oh man, I'm terrible for that. Like I'll rock up to the tournament. I'll be there an hour early. Won't read the players pack, and then we'll start rolling dice. I'll say hi to the opponent, chat to them, and then they'll be like, all right, so this is what we're doing. I'm just like, oh, what's the first scenario again?
Look,
like, and I'm like, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
What I've started doing in our Facebook events for these events, if you look at the times I put on them, I set them up so that they're sort of 6 till 8, like 6 in the morning till 8 at night.
Yeah, wicked.
And that's only because I want to set an alarm for myself. But the amount of players that turn up at 6 a.m. because they haven't read the players pack, but Facebook has told them it starts at 6. Serious. Like we had 30 volunteers at one tournament because I'd set it for 6 a.m. and they all just rocked up at 6.
Oh god.
Good.
Whereas if they'd read the players pack, they could have had 2 hours of sleep on top of whatever they got. So it's read the players pack.
Yeah, don't do what I do.
Now you can address the organisation.
We've got time for one more question. This is from a person who's just sent me a message. They want to know, what is the strangest situation that you've had to deal with as a tournament organizer?
Hmm.
Well, there's been a
We've had
few.
to take keys off. We've had to take keys off a couple of players who've had one too many beers. We've had a couple of guys sleep in their car overnight at a 2-day tournament.
That's glorious.
We've had cross-dressers turn up at tournaments for the mixed double. They came up. They came in drag.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a great idea.
It was mildly disturbing for one of them, and very disturbing for the other. They were not attractive women.
We haven't really had anything overly strange, have we?
No, look, I mean, they're probably the ones that stick out Like we get the odd bit of cosplay with some of the guys who bring along props and that sort of thing.
So we've had a few events where
We've had them turn up as pirates and in armor.
oh yeah, I mean they come in costume, so that's just awesome. But I think the strangest one was where we've had people turn up but without bringing their army.
Yeah, we've had that.
Is it okay if I still play? How? How are you going to play?
What were they going to do? What was their thought pattern without an army? Were they? I mean,
Well, they wanted us to work out how they could do that. Oh, I'm not a magician.
Well, we had that one guy who turned up. He was a Space Marine army, and he forgot his box of all of his tanks. So he was short a Land Raider, 3 Rhinos, a Predator, a couple of Dreadnoughts. Like he literally had brought half his army. And he was walking around the room asking other Space Marine players if they had any models spare that he could use to fill in the gaps. And you know what?
Somebody had them.
Yeah, the dude played day 1 of that tournament with a mishmash of tanks that he borrowed from other people.
That's brilliant. Oh, well, that's kind of good community.
That's probably one of the weirder instances that we've had.
We had one guy who was moving his models about on the table using a, like a dustpan.
Oh, yeah.
Just using the dustpan to kind of go, oh, yep, shifting they're done the way.
he was playing, it was probably 200 different Gants. 50-50 Hormagaunt, 50-50 Termagaunt. And this is 7th edition with glass markers. And he got hit by a barrage of 3 whirlwinds as a battery. And the dudes looked at the table and gone, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows in, that looks about 30 models, and just literally scooped them off, like a 12-inch row of them 4 deep. That was pretty cool.
That's pretty funny. That's how you should play.
That was really late back then.
Or you tuna plays out. Brush out.
Yeah. Run an event down south, which is an awesome event. It's one of my favourite events. But somebody.
It's about a 4-hour drive south of Perth to Albany, and we call it Line Breaker because it is literally driving to the southernmost point of Western Australia to play 40K.
And it's a really fun weekend, and it's a lot about the social aspect that happens outside of the gaming.
We stay at a scout hall. It's Warhammer camp.
Yeah, it is. It's Warhammer camp. And so one night we had one guy didn't bring any bedding because he decided he was staying at a hotel instead of a scout camp. So instead, he slept in his car and then ended up practically frozen to death because down south in the middle of winter,
it was cold.
Someone got incredibly drunk, went to the toilet, and then we lost them in the middle of the bush. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're all going around trying to find them
with torches.
Somebody else was outside on the veranda.
Oh yeah, he slept on the veranda. Yeah,
but he doesn't even remember.
What was it then called?
Line breaker. It happened. It traditionally. The first one happened in May, and this year we ran it in March
because it was
way too cold in May.
Well, there you guys. If you guys want an extreme tournament situation, go to Line Break in fucking Western Australia.
It's a 3-day event. We go down the day before. We drink and play board games and stuff the first night. Then we game the tournament on the second day, and then more drinking throughout the day and that night, and then you go home on the. So we do it over a long weekend. So you drive down Saturday, the tournament's Sunday, and you drive home Monday.
That literally sounds like the best tournament ever. The only tournament where you take your miniatures, your dice, and a survival manual.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. One of the guys dropped about $500 on Forge World while he was tanked down there.
That's it. Oh my god, he drunk all.
He woke up and he'd ordered the Knight Atropos, the big double laser.
That's a hot mini. That's something you want to buy when you're pissed.
That's something you want to buy.
He ordered one of them and 2 other Knights from Forge World.
Because if you're going to do it and you get free postage, you may as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, true that.
Oh man.
So they're just some of the things that we've seen over the last couple of years.
Funnily enough, most of our strangest things do involve gaming, gamers, and alcohol.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good time to me.
That sounds like a good time. Well, so we've been going for about 2 hours now, and so that's about it from us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on the show. It was so good to talk to you guys. Emma and Michael.
Yeah, and not only that, but we get a good insight into the frustrations and everything of the back end of tournaments. So yeah, thank you.
Welcome to our marriage.
It's been absolutely amazing.
Congratulations, Emma, on being able to put up with all of that crap.
Surviving this many years, yeah.
Yes. We you're the actual backbone of Objective Secured, so big shout out to Emma.
Yeah,
doing everything she does.
He does deserve it, because certainly the events in Perth wouldn't happen to the standard they do without her. So yeah,
we'd have no table numbers for a start. So.
they wear them as badges. Half of them would be numbered. It's fine.
It's all good. Yeah.
So, no, and thanks very much for having us on, guys. It's been awesome. This is our first video podcast, so it's been really cool. Thank you.
It's been a fun couple of hours sharing it with us.
It's been a pleasure. It's been so good to see such a big difference between Michael, the tournament organizer we had on in our first part of this podcast series, and then having you guys on who have done such big events and have done so much for the community over your side of Australia. It's such a pleasure to have you on. We're definitely going to be having you around for more. We've got lots of crazy ideas that we're going to throw your way. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for it.
If you want to listen to crazy, we did a podcast with some of the locals here called Drunk Hammer.
Oh, there we go, Drunk Hammer. Pen it in.
If you listen to that,
amazing. Please set. We will get a link of Michael and Emma for Drunk Hammer, and we will be putting that on our Facebook page. I encourage everyone to go and have a listen, because
and I'm honestly
I'm sure as
saying
hell will be.
That was 2 hours of recording that I condensed down to just over an hour, and we drank 2 bottles of whiskey, and everyone was very drunk by the end of it. And there's a great photo that finishes it as well, of one of the locals with his head in a bucket being violently ill in our backyard.
Yeah, good.
Winning.
Yeah, that's what you want.
I won't name names, but he did end up naked as well because he chucked so badly.
Yeah, we'll get you in, mate. We'll find out who you are.
He's got plenty of friends who will share that and photos with you, no doubt.
Oh, mate, send those photos in. We can't wait to see them. All right. Well, Ryan, have you got anything else, mate? Have I missed anything? Have we forgotten to plug our event that we're going to?
No. I just want to use this opportunity, closing off our 2-part series of The Secret Life of a TO, to remind everybody to thank their TOs when they go to events, to follow the rules of the event, because if you don't, you're going to have a bad time. But also just to make sure that when you go there, you understand the amount of effort that's put in the background to allow you to be able to participate in some really good events where you're out of the home and around other human beings. So thank you to all the TOs out there, especially to Michael and Emma, repping Australia pretty awesomely at the moment, which is always good to see. Queensland would be very lucky to have you guys if you do decide to pop around for a visit. But yeah, just be aware that there's a lot of work that goes into tournaments, and just remember that when you go in and you're participating, that what you take there can affect whether or not that TO may want to do another tournament. And it'll only be you losing out if you give everyone else a bad time. So show your appreciation, show your respect, and enjoy it, because that's what TOs are there to do. They're trying to do an event because they enjoy seeing everybody else enjoy it. So yeah, that's probably my little piece of advice. That's what I've learned over the 2-part series anyway, is just to really appreciate what's been organised, because it's quite difficult and there's a lot that goes on in the background.
100% agree with that. Definitely agree. All right, so for all of our subscribers, thank you for watching our videos, whether it's been live with us or later on if you've been in live. Double thanks to you guys for checking us out in the chat. For all of you who submitted photos today for us on the show, again, thank you. It's going to be throwing in some albums on our AUSHAMMER. Those of you who actually made the cast will be chasing you up, so get prepared to have your inboxes flooded with heaps of stupid questions about your miniatures. So we'll catch you later. Anyway, this has been AUSHAMMER. This is episode 9. It's going to be the big 1-0 next week, so catch us same time, same place, same crazy duo. We don't know what we're going to be doing, but it'll be fun.
Probably involves Brynley wearing a beanie and me dosed up on cold and flu tablets.
Yeah, as per usual, we don't like to switch it up too much. Big shout out to Objective Secured. Emma and Michael, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
Love having you. So we loved it. For everyone else, we're out. You guys enjoy your week. We'll catch you later.
Cheers.